familiar with Nicewig, right, Rainday?
Oh, very familiar with Nicewig, both born in, LA. Well, he's not born in LA, but he lives in LA now. And so you get the LA card. And they're great. And they've been in the Apex scene for so long, ever since it began. So it's great to see him hosting this tourney and supporting all the other Apex content creators.
Yeah, and Tiff, this is your first Twitch Rivals event, right? That you're casting in?
It is, and honestly, I think it's one of the first ones that I've ever been a part of. I've been streaming since 2019 and casting for about the same time. So to be up here alongside y'all casting over this, look, I'm ready for whatever.
Yeah, I am so excited. And yeah, be ready for whatever, because Twitch Rivals Apex tournaments can really have like anything. And I know we have some special rules in place today, which is going to be really interesting. So I think both of y'all were paying attention to the drafting earlier today, which was really interesting. Yeah, we're actually going to get to look at the teams in a minute, but let's go ahead and take a look at that game format that I was teasing earlier. So this is pretty standard. We're going to have 60 players, 20 teams, 3 players each, which is pretty traditional, but we do have a few twists with this game mode specifically. So it's going to be really interesting. And Rainday, I want you to help us break this down.
What I love about this is Nicewig brought that creativity that's going to give you a very new look at the same old Apex that we love and play almost every day. We're going to start off on World's Edge, but then we're going to go to Stormpoint and then Olympus, a map we don't usually see in competitive play. So not only is that exciting, we're going to see it not just once, but twice, because we're going to rerun that. And as the players progress on these maps, they're also going to be given challenges of which legends they can play. Each map will have a distinct set of legends, and that will be released not like 30 minutes, not 2 days ago, so they can prep 5 minutes before it starts. So whoever can manage to do that alongside the draft that happened earlier, picking their teammates on the spot with the traditional ALGS point scoring rules, well, they're going to come out as our champion.
Yeah, I love that it's going to keep them on their toes. Now, Tiff, we have 50K total in prize money today.
Yeah, this is going to be insane for all the creators that are playing today. If you are making it in this lobby, you're guaranteed at least a little bit of something. But for those of you that make it to the top, maybe first place, a nice 12K for the entire team. Second place gonna be 6K, and obviously it scales down. But what I've got my eyes on is that we're giving some superlatives away for the players with the most eliminations. That top player that has the most will walk away with $500 at the end of the day, and second place, 300. So, look at the roster that we've seen. I mean, look, it could be a handful of people.
I know, we have so many star players here. I mean, look, we've got Albert Lily, we got Deeds dropped. Look at all of these teams that are so stacked here. I have no idea who's going to end up taking the most kills, actually. But Rain, do you have a little bit of an idea? I mean, you saw the drafting happen, so I don't know if you have an idea on who you're going to be picking to take home the MVP.
Well, in terms of kills, I gotta go like Yanya and maybe Verholz, because they have traditionally done really well. But as far as teams, I'm looking at a few. I love Jim Burton's squad. He's got my girl on there. We're casting the Nessie Cup tomorrow, and Mr. Keem as well. They were warming up, and Jim Burton, obviously a world champion. But another team that to me has caught my eye is Reptar, and the fact that he picked Greek early on. I mean, that's Nicewig's roommate. Essentially, he has a chance to go over and smack Nicewig in the head, run back to his console. There's advantages that could occur. All joking, seriously, but he has obviously a home court advantage there in picking a Nicewig.
Little sabotage, no big
Yeah,
deal,
sabotage.
right?
Yeah, no, we were talking about this off stream. I was like, oh, he can just run over and take a peek at where he is. And I mean, listen, is it like really
unplug his
sniping
computer,
if you look at it? Like, yeah, it's fine.
100%.
But Tiff, I mean, we see so many stacked teams here. I mean, we see Reptar, Snipe Down, and Sweet Dreams coming in this competition today.
Look, the fact that Sweet picks up Nikki right off the rip, I'm excited. Plus, Nikki, I've watched her since the beginning. She's so incredibly talented, and obviously a little IRL partner there with Sweet. So we know they've already got the chemistry, and I'm excited to see that kind of come through. Guild picked up Natty first and foremost, so I'm really excited. They have a ton of experience playing together. But honestly, I know it's Nicewig's tourney, but we gotta kind of talk about the squad that he was able to grab in the draft. He picks up Doki first, and then was able to get minus Tempo, which I thought was really interesting. I know they were trying to throw some shade towards Tempo, saying, oh, he's just one of those people that sit with a charge rifle in the back. Nah, this is the Challenger Circuit roster that Wig's gonna be playing with.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how Wig's roster is going to go up, specifically against Hal and Peep and Verholst even. I mean, I'm telling you, when we say that we've brought like everyone out from Apex's community, we mean it. Also, I'm really glad for some of the other smaller creators getting invited to this, because that's part of the fun of Twitch Rivals, Rain.
I mean, this is really an unusual event because a lot of Twitch rivals, rightly so, pick mainstay creators to help represent the game in these competitions. But in the same way, Nicewig purposefully said, I'm sorry, I still love you if you didn't get invited, but I want to find people for this event that can be seen maybe for the first time, who don't usually get those Twitch rivals invites. And maybe now, Stella, Tiff, this will start their invite train rolling and maybe start something on Twitch that, you know, keeps on going for them.
I hope so.
Yeah, I really hope so. I love that messaging, but I gotta take it back a little bit. So chat, it's time for your favorite time ever with our Twitch Rivals stream. It is time for Guessin' with Duncan, where you have the chance to win big. Check out the polling widget in the extension, make your predictions, and watch your name shoot up on the leaderboard. The top 10 finishers get $10 Duncan and Twitch gift cards, and the first place winner claims a sweet Duncan slink bag. Enter !Duncan for the full rules and cast your predictions now. So we kind of touched on predictions before, but you know what? Listen, I'm going to come out and say I think Hal may end up taking this tournament just because, I mean, I feel like he's kind of dialed in these fun tournament formats and he knows what to expect and he knows how to start out right. So that's my prediction. Tiff, how about you?
Look, do we want to go for the win or do we want to go for the pure content? Because I'm getting messages that saying like Deeds, Flats, and Emong are going to be the pure content squad. But if I have to go for who could win this, Hal's been pretty consistent, you know, Sweet as well. But I'm going to go ahead and throw out Keon's team.
That's a pretty good one.
Dark Horse. We'll just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have to add into that. It's hard not to look at one of the members of TSM taking this. They're feeling so good off of regional finals and winning that, you know, heading into this competition. I've just seen them relax and just go off of it. So Verholst, to me, his squad looks pretty good. And obviously he's in my mind for a top kill leader pretty much usually. But we were talking behind the scenes, and Tiff, you even mentioned Yanya's team as well. Legacy, they've been playing so well. And I think one of the, you know, best players, 1v1. We'll see how that translates though to this game, which Stella is intertwined with a lot of unique challenges for these players they don't usually have to go through.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how exactly that 5-minute warning on the Legends list is going to work out because, well, we'll see who actually pays attention to that list first because we know it's really hard to pay attention to everything, especially when you're in the middle of a tournament. But I really hope we see the OG loadout, you know, like Wraith, Bloodhound. Ooh, maybe some Gibraltar. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
That would be feisty. I'd love to see some Wraith. I know we get a little bit of Wraith here and there throughout ALGS on the most recent match days and regional finals. You know, we've seen Design play that in ALGS. Obviously not competing here today, but it's happened. It's there.
Mirage, can I just say Mirage?
Yes.
I mean, it might be the day, you know? I don't know.
A little bamboozle.
I've seen some Mirages out there do their thing, so I'm excited which pro has a Mirage in their back pocket. You know, I'll be very impressed if someone can play him well.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I also hope that a lot of these players are used to the new Apex system as well, which has sort of a League of Legends style leveling system within the game, which is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, at first I was like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work in an FPS game, but it actually ended up working out pretty well. So I really hope everyone is on top of it because that is going to make the extra difference in winning these fights. So we'll have to see. But first, let's hear from the big man himself. I believe we have Nicewig on the other line here.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
I see you still have your Christmas tree up, dude. I mean, what is it just gonna stay up till the end of the year? Like,
All right, relax, Scrooge. Yeah, I just broke my whole mic. Broke my whole mic. No, listen.
It's
The
fine.
tree
Can't
is
make
staying
that up.
You and everybody else that shits on the tree, it's staying up until Christmas Eve, and then I'm taking it down for Christmas, and it's going back up on the 26th because of how many people have come.
oh my God. Okay. All right.
enough.
Well,
it's
okay, I
fine.
guess that's somewhat of a plan. Okay. So speaking of plans, what is your game plan going into this today? It's your tournament, man.
Yeah, you know, I picked a squad of vibes, definitely not of pristine caliber. We're a team of many words and not a lot of shooting. So we'll see what we do today, and the goal is to have a good time. So that's the goal. We'll see how it goes.
Listen, all jokes aside, man, and clearly the pump has been working. I don't know if that was pre-workout in the drink or not, but you've obviously created a tournament format that's really intriguing, and I want to kind of go deeper into the people you invited because you intentionally wanted to open this up to more people to get this opportunity. Talk to me as to why you decided to do that for this trios event.
Yeah, I mean, first off, thank you guys for casting. I appreciate it. You guys are literally the goats, like my favorites. So, I would say the reason was because I don't know, every Twitch Rivals event, or not even Twitch Rivals, just a lot of third parties that come into Apex, I feel like they kind of know exactly who to go for, if that makes sense. They pick like the larger names or whatever it may be, they just go based off numbers. But there's so many people that are dedicated to the community. People like Legendary Doll, who've never played in a Rivals before, and she hosts tournament after tournament every day for the community. There's so many amazing people that might not have thousands and thousands of viewers, but who cares? They're here and they're a pillar in the community themselves. So giving them the first opportunity, I think, is like one of the coolest things that we could do. And then also on top of that, just having a mix of like pros, right? Because not everyone can play with pros. Not everyone gets to meet like Hal. Some people's favorite streamer is Hal. So having them play with Hal too, the mix can be really cool. And I don't know. I think the Apex community needs to come together a little bit more. So maybe just making it less exclusive and more inclusive is like what it's about, for sure.
No, I love that. And honestly, you talked about the pillars of the community in Apex as a whole. Obviously, you've done so much for the community, and Twitch Rivals is kind of that big threshold that everyone wants to be a part of. But what does it mean to you to kind of come together and have your own collaboration alongside Twitch Rivals?
I've never had a tournament. So this is like my first tournament that my name's a part of. So after I got the message about it, I was like pretty dumbfounded. I didn't really expect anything out of that. Not many people are willing, or companies are willing to put their money into Apex right now. It's not like the hottest esport of all time, but we are on the come up. And I feel like if there's any opportunity where I could just put money into Apex and allow people to make like $500, whatever it may be, I'm all down. I'm so down for it. So, huge shout out to Twitch for the opportunity. And, I don't really do that much. I just watch a lot. So it's pretty cool to give back at least a little bit more, for sure.
Dude, you do so much. You do so much. Yeah. And I love the messaging behind this. But I have to ask, were you the one that came up with the legend list for each map in this tournament?
No, I let Taylor do that thing and all that stuff because, he's way smarter and he fully understands what needs to happen in a Rivals tournament. For me, I was kind of just brainstorming. I am definitely not the detailed person. I just kind of just spit out a bunch of things in my mind and he was like, yo, this works. Let's do it. So no, shout out Taylor. He's the GOAT.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to see how it all pans out. I mean, good luck. We hope you win, but if you still put on this awesome event. So.
Good luck.
Not good. Hope you win. Not a shot. Thank you. Yeah. I'll need the luck for sure. That's how it goes.
Good luck, man.
Thanks. Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Oh, man.
I love his energy. It's so infectious. He says he doesn't do that much. He does so much for the community, Tiff. I mean, this man is always working overtime.
Yeah, I'm talking watch party. And we get so many good information from him, not only just for North America, but this man put APAC North, APAC South, EMEA on the market for everyone in NA. So everyone's finding their new favorite players, their new favorite pros, the content creators. We wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Wig.
I know. He is literally Apex Legends hype man. So yeah, no, he deserves the best. So we're going to take a quick break. Hopefully when we come back, we have game number 1 ready for you, at least the details.
close. I was watching that maze play it, and y'all got it right down to the bottom. You just had to hit down. I know which one of you. I know y'all were hitting right, up. We can see it all. Anyways, welcome back to Twitch Rivals. We're going to be playing in Nice Wigs tournament today. I'm super excited. And also, you know what? While we're here, you may be noticing a new feature that we have on Twitch Rivals called The Feed, which is where we bring your commentary directly into the show using graphics. You can join the conversation by dropping some fire comments in chat or send us your best memes and one-liners on X or Instagram at Twitch Rivals. Use the hashtag TRFeed and maybe you'll see your comment on the show. Just, mind what you say, all right? We see everything. So we were talking about maps on our little break, and I know we were talking about Olympus, which I feel like that's a pretty divisive map, but I like it. Rainday, where do you stand on it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I've been developing my map opinion much more after playing a lot of ranked on stream this last split. And I felt like Olympus is actually a little bit of a breath of fresh air for me. It plays way closer to World's Edge than Stormpoint does. And if you prefer characters that can kind of get up close, and if you prefer rotations on maps that are a little bit easier to navigate, I think that's going to be your second favorite map. I still think World's Edge takes the cake, but Stormpoint is such a departure from that normal style that you could find yourself in these long stretches of open, plains and water and spiders all over. It's just, you got to get in your mind in a different place.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. But Tiff, we're going to come back to you real quick about this because I actually also want to know your thoughts on Broken Moon because I personally love that map, but we'll get to that. I know that's a bit of a spicy map take, but chat real quick. We're going to be kicking off the Dunkin' Challenger Cup where our players are going to try to help you win free Dunkin' coffee. Today's goal is to have 150 shield batteries consumed. If that happens during today's event, the first 8 people to drop hashtag Dunkin' promotion in chat and fill out the entry form will win free Dunkin' coffee for a year. Yeah, for a year. The next 25 will get free Dunkin' coffee for a month. The next 50 get free coffee for a week. And the next 800 will still get 1 small free Dunkin' coffee. So in total, that's over 875 big winners if any team today can reach today's Dunkin' Challenger Cup goal. So stay tuned and cheer on your favorite players today. Also, to help you cheer on your favorite players towards achieving today's Dunkin' Challenger Cup goal, we've got a brand new follower emote. This is Dunkin's Running Man, and you can fire this off in chat to let the players know they need to keep consuming those shield batteries so you can get your free Dunkin' coffee. Make sure you're following the channel, and reminder to refresh your window if you're just become a follower to have fun with this super cool new emote. So, okay, yeah, Tiff, Olympus. First of all, how do you like Olympus?
First off, I'm still thinking of coffee, and I'm just like, I just want to run my way to the nearest Dunkin'. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I was like, can we drop in chat? No, for real though. I do like Broken Moon. It's probably a hot take. A lot of people are like, ooh, no ranked on Broken Moon. It just depends on where you're landing. And if I'm trying to get mixy and practice just like kind of getting into quick fights and regaining, then that's perfect for me. But bringing it into comp, well, we'll have to see it. But Olympus though, I do agree with Rainday. I really enjoy Olympus. It plays nice.
Yeah, also it's just a really pretty map. Where do you guys like to drop on Olympus? I personally love the Grow Towers. I don't know why. It's something about like the rotation. It makes me think of like the little, what is it, conveyor belt sushi? But it's like loot instead. So
yeah. Listen, as someone who had conveyor belt sushi, it's kind of a similar experience as when I landed on the Grow Towers and tried to snipe. It sounds great, but when you're rotating and shooting a longbow, it really doesn't work out to hit your headshots because tracking a moving player while you're also spinning isn't easy.
True.
As well as conveyor belt sushi. If you do not eat all kinds of fish and you only like tuna and salmon like me, you'll go to Japan and stack up probably 8 plates and people will be looking at you like, oh man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And that's exactly what happened to me. So not a conveyor belt sushi guy, unfortunately.
Oh man,
We're getting
that's
the
really
Rainday lore.
Yeah. That's
I'm not as expansive as I thought.
Yeah, you know what? It just sounds like you need to get good on like all levels, Rainday. I'm sorry, but that's
Okay.
Wow.
That's kind of what I'm hearing right now.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll take it.
Tiff, where's your favorite place to land in Olympus?
Ooh, lately it's kind of been between Power Grid and Gardens. It's not necessarily like my favorite place. Like if I want to go, like my tried and true home is to be iHydroponics, but if I'm trying to get mixy early, it's either Gardens or Power Grid 100%.
That's pretty good. Yeah, Gardens gets pretty hot too. So yeah, I think it just depends on where you see everyone's drop trails going. Speaking of, I really wonder where everyone's going to drop today, because it's not like ALGS where people kind of state where they're going to be. Most people don't really do that. So how many contests do you think we're going to have off drop?
Ooh, I would say we'll have a few. I'd say we probably have 2, because that's 4 teams. So then you got 16 teams not dropping solo. So I think we'll get a couple, but most of these teams are led by a pro who is not going to put themselves in a position to lose easily if they don't feel like they have at least better than a 50% chance. So I would say we'll see some conservative dropping, but 1 or 2 I would expect.
Ooh, I mean, look, hear me out. I was watching the draft a little bit earlier, and they were kind of talking about calling out their drop spots. So I'm not sure if there was a group channel, but Wig was stressing out trying to pick where he wanted to land his team, talking about, okay, maybe Geyser on World's Edge is the way to go. And if you know anything, I'm sure either Verhulst or Hal has Lava Siphon at some point. He's probably already made up their loot pass, they're drawing, and they're like, all right, here's exactly where you're gonna go, Evil Toaster. I'm looking at you. I need you to make the move, and you're gonna hit the console. Like, who knows what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, ooh, and I just got word we can talk about the list of legends available for map number 1. And just a quick refresher, map number 1 and second to last map will be on World's Edge. So we're going to World's Edge, everyone's favorite default competitive map. But yeah, so for the Assault legends, we'll have Fuse and Mad Maggie. Skirmisher is going to be Horizon and Revenant. Recon, only Bloodhound. Controller, Rampart or Watson. And for support, Gibraltar. So looking at this list here, I'm gonna start with if I were to build my team. You know what? I would do Bloodhound, Horizon, and you know what? Revenant. Just full send it. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Rain Day?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be good. You know, honestly, we have the Mad Maggie challenges going on right now, so I think we may see some Mad Maggies come out just because people are like primed from seeing it in their games so much. So if you're gonna run a Maggie, let's say you do that and you get aggressive as well. I like the idea of a Maggie Fuse, and then you have to combo that with something that either gives you a little bit of pressure as well, like a Bloodhound, or you go safe and you try to hit like a Rampart, weirdly enough. And I think that you can have a pretty decent combination of aggressive play with those 3 legends and still have a little bit of safety with that.
I like those a lot. I'm looking at the list and I'm thinking no one is going to have a good time rotating unless you've got your evac towers. So I'm picking everyone going off evac towers, and I'm going Mad Maggie, Horizon, Bloodhound. People are going to be playing off player scans and just getting super aggressive, which means we are going to have an entire int fest onto World's Edge, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I really do hope we get more Rampart. I mean, listen, it's Twitch Rivals, so anything
Sheila.
can happen.
Yeah.
Like, especially on World's Edge, where everyone's pretty comfortable with this map. I mean, you know pretty much where to go, you know where to set up. So I feel, especially with the changes to Big Mod's location as well. So I don't know, we might see some Ramparts actually. It would be really fun. I love Sheila. I wish I was a good Rampart, because every time I want to grief someone, I pull out Sheila, and then I'm just like, oh wait, never mind, it took too long, I'm dead. So
yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck getting an evac off with Sheila. I mean, that's like the Rampart challenges. It was almost impossible because that minigun will just destroy them quickly. So your rotation is completely out of the mix. But a legend that we didn't mention in any of our lineups, which is probably going to be seen here, I would imagine, is Watson, because she just fits really nicely with World's Edge in general. And I think if you look Storm Point, you look these other maps, maybe not. But I feel like World's Edge, a lot of people will go, Watson's a pretty solid standard pick for this map, so let's build around what we know what works, and maybe Watson, Bloodhound, and then a spicy pick for someone who's feeling it.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. I think Watson being really viable into late game, especially since you can choose with the new branching paths in the Apex system, you can choose to either have 2 of her gens up, or you could have one that generates arc stars Bros, which is kind of wild. I mean,
Yeah.
that is so useful endgame. So I don't know, Tiff. I think Randy actually makes a really good point. Not about the sushi, but about this Watson take.
No, I mean, I think that's fair, right? Because we're not obviously getting Caustic as a controller legend to be picked. We've kind of gotten him out of this map for World's Edge. Then Watson is 100% a good way to kind of bunker down for endgame, especially with support character Gibby out there. You want to throw it on the pylon, defend against the ultimate, and just kind of lock it down? I think it's safe to say.
Well, Tiff, just to expand off of that, I think Gibby Watson is something that we are really used to seeing in terms of a very defensive style that works well. And you look at this, and maybe you tend to look at the dynamics of a team and go, okay, we've got one pro, one Predator style player. Maybe we've got some people who love Apex but aren't as comfortable on some of the aggressive roles, the same way that you might see, Yanya or Verhulst or Hal. So maybe a Watson, maybe a Gibby feels safe. They go, this is a way I can kind of, help my team shadow, some of these players that we know are going to carry and still be helpful in the end game. So I like that combo.
Yeah, I think that's a really good take. You're right. I think a lot of the pros are definitely going to have to slow it down. It's certainly not like ALGS where everything is cutthroat immediately at the beginning, right? I do think we're going to see some early action, maybe some contests, because again, I mean, it's not quite the same. Not everyone's set in where they want to go. I do think we'll see some Gibraltar, but do you think we'll see a lot of Revenants too, though? Just because it kind of helps you get across the map pretty quickly?
I just watched Inception, and they get to the point in that movie where they can't tell if it's a dream or reality. And that would be a little scary because that would be bringing my nightmares into reality here, because Revenant is just a character I hate to see anytime he shows up. So maybe players will realize we could be somebody's worst nightmare if we pick Rev 2.
Yeah, maybe we'll see one of the more confident teams take him and try to just push into fights. But I mean, listen, we can speculate all we want, but the game number one is ready. So we're just going to jump right in and see exactly how well our predictions did. I would just like to say, as long as Randy is not right, I'm good.
Okay, wow. All right.
Well, I may not be right about these legends, but I really do feel like my sushi statement is correct. If you don't like eating more than tuna and salmon, do not go to Conveyor Belt Sushi. I promise you're better off just ordering. And I think at the end of the day, Tiff, when it looks at being better off here as we land in the World's Edge, Nicewig, he's gone for a lineup we didn't actually mention. The Watson, we expected maybe, but the Bloodhound and the Fuse. So a little bit of safety and aggression here with a team he says will definitely not win today.
And it's great, right? Because when everyone was talking about Minus Tempo, they're like, oh, he's a one-trick charge rifle. I mentioned at the top of the show. Well, if you're going to have someone just kind of anchoring back, just imagine him throwing the knuckle cluster forward every time it pops off cooldown and just being a pure nuisance to the entire lobby.
Yeah, it is a pretty difficult thing to deal with, especially when you're just trying to sustain or you have another party. Fuse is one of those elements that can push a fight over the edge in the wrong direction for you if you're getting hit with knuckle cluster. They made a change a long time ago to make it last a little bit longer and increase the damage overall. And Fuse is, he hasn't quite found an upgrade in these perks the way some legends have, Tiff, but he's definitely always being considered. I think Fuse is a character that's kind of right on the cusp of always being something someone thinks about to include in their lineup. Just usually doesn't have a lot of staying power.
It's been a while.
Definitely doesn't. Honestly, I was just trying to listen to some of their comms because when Nicewig was picking his team, he's like, I have the massive vibes team. Anytime you throw Doki on a squad, it's going to be a good time. But you can see you're scanning around. So far, no one making their way over towards Geyser. And this is kind of nearby that edge of ring. So it looks like we'll be pulling more central or towards that western side.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see. But one thing you mentioned is that we pick vibes. We pick the chat. They have not stopped communicating, not leaving room for comms. I know Jayhawk would be very upset with the lack of blank space here. And, I think that's okay, though. They're going for their strategy. And for me, when you're playing Apex, Tiff, a lot of times it's just if you get in a good rhythm with the players that you have, whether you're randomly playing ranked, whether you're in the ALGS, that matters. That actually impacts the way that you're able to be effective here. And, some duos come in already with the chemistry, such as Baby Nikki and Sweet, boyfriend and girlfriend living together, and Bad Gal Shay adding in. So this should be a team that knows what they're doing. And again, we're seeing a Watson, Fuse, but this time a Horizon for Sweet.
Ooh, okay, look. Every time you think back, oh, wait a second.
Uh-oh.
Where's Nikki, though?
Try to get
Run, Shay. What do you mean, Sweet? How far away are we? We are so separated out onto the world's edge, and to already lose Nikki this early on, knowing we don't have Gibby, we're not going to have the ability to get that crafter, get them back on their feet remotely. So help is on the way, Nikki.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
they may be living together, but it seems like they were really far apart on the map.
I do have the right knife.
Yeah, I mean, that's trust. That's confidence, right? You know, in your partner. Just you do your thing, you do mine, we'll meet up at the end. Sometimes it doesn't work out, though. And didn't work out this time, but Sweet, you know, like the valiant, you know, guy coming in to try to see what went wrong. He's going back for it and just saying, hey, I'm not going to leave you out there. You know, things may not have gone the way that you wanted, but Sweet making the effort, and that's all that matters. A team I want to focus on too, Mindo, Albarelli, Trick 2G. We didn't mention this team. Albarelli, Tiff, formerly kind of retiring, then coming back in. This is kind of a common thing we've seen in ALGS pros. But with Mindo, an old school Apex Legends player. In fact, when I first got on broadcast, one of the players who tweeted that he liked what I had said on the analyst desk my very first time in Poland being on there. And it actually had a really big impact on my career. So I would have to give a big shout out to Mindo just because I have the chance to pay it back after he paid it forward.
Oh, that's actually super cool. I was going to say, I wonder if Mendo and Alb then have a ton of history. They would already have that chemistry because Mendo was swooped up really quick by Alb.
Yeah, just being around probably in the scene at that stage. Mindo, variety streamer and FPS player, and has done a lot of good things. Albo here on the horizon. They've gone for that Jibby, Watson, and Horizon. So it seems like we're seeing a lot of the players who, you know, want to get aggressive, want to be able to play make, pick Horizon. And Tiff, I think she's still in that position to where you want to be able to, if you can, player, because the black hole, the gravity lift, team movement, there's not a lot of other players or characters, excuse me, that can do that.
Well, I just personally like her for the grav lift, you know, get up and out, especially when you've got so much high ground that you need to get up to. Speaking of, we've got, you know, minus tempo, on foot, Fuse, just full sending over towards Lava Siphon, where we've seen, you know, at least Alb's team was just rotating throughout here. So maybe, are we just going to kind of bunker down, see what happens here for tempo? He does have the charge rifle in hand.
Oh,
Wig
man.
was not lying. One trick.
Oh, man. Is this the only charge rifle player in Apex Legends right now? I mean, is minus tempo breaking records? He's got to do something after throwing all these tournaments that he's been throwing. Just incredible with oversight. But, you know, yeah, I'm surprised to see it. You know, 19 squads left. They're still alive, sitting on whites. We'll see how that goes for him as we go over with Emmy Juju and Imperial House team.
She's being IGL'd by Hal right now. I would be nervous. I would be nervous. I don't know why. Something about Hal. Great player, obviously. I just feel like I don't know if I'd be able to live up to that pressure. But you guys in chat, if you just saw, there is the Mad Maggie Hollow Spray. Drops are on the Twitch Rivals. You can get that Hollow Spray by watching 1 hour. So make sure you do at least that. Plus, you know, you want to see the content. We need all of this.
Also, can we just mention the Duncan challenge right now? 150
Ooh.
shield bats. I mean, that's, you know, I hit about 2 shield bats per long range fight here. So I'm thinking if that happens across all 20 teams, we should be hitting that pretty soon. I don't want to get people too excited, but I would just have your hands on the keyboard, ready to type hashtag Duncan promotion, because free coffee for a year. I mean, that's a game changer.
I'm gonna be going every day.
That's a game
every
changer.
morning. It's just like, here we go. I'm gonna get my daily Dunkin'
Oh,
in,
man. That even sounds good.
but yeah, right?
I love it. A little engagement happening here, though, with Soar Noob King and great Apex representative, and has been shouting out his
This
girl,
is
Casey
Knox
Dill.
Squad.
There's a lot of people over there. Oh my god.
There's a lot of people. Good comms there, girl. All right, so Nock picks up Noob King right off the rip in the draft, and then Girl on the second way throughout. But I love that Nock has immediately decided, oh, I'm going to play Watson, which I wonder if he went for the more strategic kind of bunker down defensive character to give him a lot of time to be able to focus on kind of IGLing with Noob King, letting him kind of frag out and utilizing Girl in that kind of maybe refragging potential here.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. When you look at Watson and you look at World's Edge, the goal is to take a fight and probably hold down buildings towards late game and zone, which a lot of zones end with buildings in. So Watson is better at that naturally than anybody else. You just can't run into perimeter security. You'll die, especially with a good team. And you can't poke your head out sometimes. You'll die, but you can't get him out of there with a pylon. So he's going to go back to safety She's going to go back to safety. And, you know, this at the end of the day is a winning strategy as long as you can hold on.
Thank you.
This is fine. Everything's fine right now.
No, they're
A
not
little bit
using
of,
a
okay,
shield
so what I
battery.
think they're doing is they're Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, you're right. She goes for the Phoenix kick. It doesn't count, but I wish it did. But regardless, that's going to be the best way to get you back up to full health. Then you're going to go ahead and punch the Jenny out, reset it with a brand new one. Then we'll pop on over to Alb's team yet again. They've kind of got this one of the main bigger buildings here in Lava Siphon, but it makes sense for the squads that have rotated in early to go ahead and set up with their Watson.
Yep, and you can see two different sides of the zone. One much closer to tree, one on the other side before the rotation here. And sometimes just hoping to see where that thing pulls. Sitting on blues is actually better than we've seen some of these teams who have rotated early and on white, but round two about to close in. 18 squads left, still 50 players, relatively conservative. So, Tiff, the question was, what pace would this game jump out to? It seems like they've decided, just as I said it, to take it slow, but it is not taken slow here. Nice early kill. Solo goes down, and that's Team Yanya
If you guys want to take it.
taking a kill.
Okay, well, you were kind of shouting out this squad at the top of the show right after the draft, grabbing Eugene and Model Morg. They just pick up an elimination on Demina, which is We the People's team, which is a homie of ours as well, peeps. You guys should best know him for his time at Champs, where he's like, Apex, what up? Just an all-around good vibe. I think he was like #1 pred at some point in time, so obviously a good squad. The question is, where is the team captain?
I'll give you my.
That is a good question. Sometimes survival here is such a big deal. Just getting alive, staying alive. If you have a support on your team, you can go ahead and craft those banners. The only support, though, is Gibraltar. And so that's going to be, for this game, not available for certain squads. We'll see if Peeps has the luxury there. But on two purples and a blue, Baby Nikki's gotten back in the game. Sweet. It's got them in a pretty good position here. They are on edge, though, so we'll have to rotate just a little bit. And that's why the evac tower is coming through. The zone's starting to pull in. We can see how they make this.
Hey, Chivalry's not dead. He made that swift recovery, got her back up on the feet. They've picked up at least 3 eliminations throughout. But what I'm really impressed with is the fact that we still have 17 squads up in the lobby.
It may not be for long with Mindo on the G7 there. Couple of shots, such a good weapon. Headshots, so deadly, so quick. 32-32, that's that 64 you're used to seeing in your death recap. Remember when you go down in Apex, it's such a familiar number. Mindo making somebody else see it there is going to die to zone and just trying to break the blue knockdown. So the damage will do. Alvarelli as well sitting in. And this is a pretty decent squad. But how do they play this now? Because they've got to move. The zone is pulled away from them, Tiff, and so they're going to have to rotate. Evac towers typically a little risky now because players are probably already sitting where you need to go, but it may be their only option.
That is very true. And I was really curious about what this squad was going to look like. Reptar did have the first pick in the draft, which was in a snake draft, right? So he grabs Greek right off the rip and then gets the final pick of the draft. And Reptar was already toying with the idea of running Revenant, which I think is going to be really interesting because you and I both, Rain Day, we have the same feeling with Revenant. The moment that ult comes through, I am dipping, I'm diving, I'm doing anything I can to get away from that Revenant.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing with Revenant. There's actually, he tips the scales in such a way to where if you are at a certain level of health, you've taken a few shots, and Revenant comes in with your ultimate, there is not a weapon in the game outside of a Kraber or maybe a Wingman that can change that difference because it's just so much extra shielding, plus the already showing you do, plus the aggressiveness that he brings. It is really, really difficult, and that is what Reptar, as an aggressive player who pioneered the Bloodhound. Bloodhound was not in competitive play. Reptar is the one who said, with complexity back in the day, let's do it. Let's just chase people down. And he's, again, going on a character that is better than almost anybody at doing that.
Okay, we're talking chasing people down. Then we got to talk about Alba right now. North of 1K damage, only 1 elimination, but they've got the squad ahead of them. And just like that, eliminated. Another one bites the dust. And I think that was going to be Gent's team that went down after that. So Abe, Gent, and Clara.
Falling away. Oh, this is a good zip setup. And Alp's saying outside the building is where they want to play. They do have the Gibraltar, so this gives them a little bit more leeway as well. They could withstand a little bit. They could throw the pressure down. No Bangalores in this lobby, so no Rolling Thunders to kind of buy time and force people back inside. But the defensive bombardment, we forget how damaging that is. You can't survive that either. And so he has a little bit of a panic button, and especially if you can combo that with a black hole. But Alberlelli just content to try to see anything on his sides here, Tiff, and use that 30-30 to just ward people away. But so far, so good.
So far, so good for everyone but Nicewig. I just saw him get completely fooled in the kill feed. So the man, the myth, the legend himself is down and out, and Greek about to join them. Wow, we were just looking like in such a solid place, but with that ring pull, the rotation over towards the back of tree. If you weren't here at the very beginning, this is going to be really challenging to rotate throughout, but Team Alb, you know, they do have to move just a little bit, but for now, they've got about 50 seconds on the clock to make their decision.
Yeah, and these are two buildings that you can hold for a long time, and eventually you're going to have to do this climb uphill. And so the key is, do you just have people in front of you that are going to hold you out? And you have a team on the side that's going to shoot you as you go. So you see they're going to look towards that left side. That's the team that's going to hold them out, but not if they can get him down with the G7 Scout. Tiff, that was close. And he levels up to that purple, which will be huge, which means he gets his third perk and is able to go for the bigger pylon. He's not going to go for the double choice, but he's just going to go for the one that gives more sustain and lasts longer.
You get that 250 HP out of the pylon. I saw a Kraber in play in the hands of Fire Dragon, taking down the Kraber Queen herself, Lulu, but... Oh,
You still have your Moby.
I
if you lose your
one.
body.
I didn't loot it.
Everything's fine, right? We knew this squad was going to be pure vibes. Looks like the Charge Rifle legend himself is down and out. They recovered the banner. We do have Wig in the game, and, you know, that's a win.
You know, rest in peace to Minus Tempo, at least for now. The Charge Rifle was a valiant choice. It was a brave choice, but it did not work out in the end. Yet they have survived. So maybe his sacrifice will allow Doki Bird to escape. Nicewig gets away. Doki a little late. It should be the end for Nicewig unless he can make some incredible rat-type play. But Hal's team has been dominating. You've seen them take down Reptar. They've also taken down Nicewig. That's a lot of kills. We haven't seen them on broadcast here, but Hal's team is fragging.
That's true. Snipe was the one that's going to get claimed for that, but Sweet on the other end, trying to take advantage of everyone forced to rotate. And we get another knock. That's going to be straight on to Deed. So sounds like they were able to make a little bit of a regain and didn't actually get fully elimed right out there. But I don't know. How do you feel about this position, right? Just underneath the tunnel. Yeah. We've got to move. It's so open. I'm a little weary. They're going to have to rely on maybe some knuckle clusters to put pressure forward, or that black hole like you mentioned.
This is a terrible position without Watson, you know, but if you have Watson, you at least cannot get naded out of here. So it's a matter of who can apply the right kind of pressure. And Sweet, the way he's hitting those G7 shots, it feels like they can do well with this, but he's worried about his high ground. I think there might be a team there. And if they have an evac tower, they can make a couple of plays. But right now, I think if this isn't a Watson team, they're vulnerable. But because it is, they've got a little bit of wiggle room, Tiff, but it's not a lot. 7 squads left. As well as they've done, it's zone 5, 30 seconds left. They're going to have to make a move here.
Curious what Sweet was going to say. He's probably planned out 5 moves in advance. But over to Snipe down here, focusing attention directly under the bridge. But all the Watsons stringing their fences together will make things a little more difficult.
Good shots from Snipe down as well, but it's the counter pressure, and that's the thing. Positioning yourself so that if a team tries to push you, they're going to get shot as well. It's kind of created this stalemate so far. But Snipe down just wants to control the zone. He's in the zone. Fire Dragon and Kuradeza also representing some great streamers and content creators in the Apex Legends space, trying to get a win with one of the classic OGs, and not just Apex, Halo, but esports. Snipe down with Red. I think he might be the only person we've seen with Red so far.
That's true. I wonder how much they were able to focus on those Evo caches, but he's got almost 1K of damage for himself. Sweet and Noob King getting into the fray on the other side, but we know that rotation from Sweet is going to be really challenging, especially with where Snipe is able to freely roam, grab that high ground, and constantly put pressure, and that's going to be a knock onto Nocturnal himself, so we got a barricade forward.
Woo! Man, Carol Deza with a beautiful swap there to the R301 and into the car, playing at light speed here. I love it. And the black hole just to get him away, and goes back to the team. Gravity lift up into the air and back around towards safety, or at least you would hope so. But it's not safe. There's a team in behind, and it's Gildersons who finds an answer. Him and Naughty and their squad might have just been hiding back there all along.
I mean, look, if you're just going to play and show minimal presence, it allows you for a little bit of a sneak attack like we're witnessing. Can Snipe and Fire Dragon kind of come back, assist Karadeza, and then hit that res, but too much pressure from all different sides. Shay picks up that knock onto Snipe down, and a Fire Dragon.
Big
A
shout out.
dream.
I mean, amazing stuff, right? From Karadeza just to do it. Sweet, they've made their move. Surprisingly, they stayed quiet, Tiff, this entire time. And with 3 squads left, they are in a position to take a W.
Oh, they really are. They've got the high ground. They're taking space up here. And honestly, I'm curious if she's going to be able to like charge up this Senti and just start throwing down angles. But they've got 6 or so golden loot boxes down there should they decide they need anything. This should be enough ammo here on the Havoc, at least for this endgame fight, down to the final 3. All about just getting your angles and maybe opening it up.
Interesting. She's not going for the syringes. I think she's so locked in and knows Sweet is pushing away. She wants to have the weapon out at all times. And this is truly in a support. Sweet firing up on top. It's Hal as well who takes down Gildersons. I told you we haven't seen them the entire broadcast, but Hal's team has been dominating in some way. Sweet dropping down with the EVA 8. They've improved that this patch, and it does the job there. He's going to look for an armor swap potentially, but decides no, red is enough. He'll take 50 of that, and he'll finish off Hal, and that's the win for Sweet Squad.
That was incredibly well done. We were talking about Hal and Sweet at the top of the broadcast. We're like, these are some of the most consistent players, not only in ALGS and competitive Apex history, but in Rivals itself.
Yeah, I love how they looked a little bit unsure at the beginning. You know, we saw Nikki go down and they were a little bit distanced, but they were able to make that comeback so well. Also, I love how Nikki looked down and just pinged, oh, there's like 6 boxes down here. But amazing first game. Rain, how did that feel? I mean, did you expect to see like 17 squads with the ring like this big?
Yeah, I know, right? It was crazy. But I think that was the kind of nerves of a first game in a tournament like this, where now you feel settled, but you're not, because we have to move on to Storm Point. Totally different play style, and now totally different legends. But I think it was also a part of the Wattson dynamic, Stella, just the fact that everyone probably picked that character more so than we thought any other character, and therefore was committed to kind of playing a slower play style.
Yeah, I honestly love that Rivals switches maps after every game, so it does keep them on their toes. And not only that, but also, Tiff, we're going to get a whole new set of legends that they can play, which we don't have it yet. But again, they're only going to know 5 minutes before.
All I can think about is this entire Rivals event, you just have to be incredibly flexible. You get your teammates via a draft an hour before broadcast starts. We're switching maps after every game where you play each map twice. And then you're, like you said, we get the legends right before. And it's like, you have to, hey, teammate, are you good at either of these legends? Like, what kind of compositions can we work through? And it's like, maybe you'll get someone that's like, no, I'm sorry, I've literally never played Valk a day in my life. There are people out there, by the way, who still do not play Valk.
Listen, I've played her a few times, but she's not my main. I totally get it. But we're going to go ahead and give the players some time to think about their strategy for Storm Point, because we're going to take a quick break.
Oh, we're doing it. Hello. Yes. We were just talking about coffee and everything. And yeah.
Yeah.
How much
We
we
were.
need more. Yeah, I'm already out. I'm too sad, but it's all right. Welcome back. I have my casters Rain Day and Spider Tiff with me, and we are so excited that we are just going to be able to see Apex all today. We were talking about how match 1 was so fun, and yeah, I mean, Tiff, this is your first Twitch Rivals, and is this what you expected? Like the level of gameplay that you expected from Rivals?
Oh yeah, 100%. I knew people were gonna come in and try to be insanely competitive, especially with the majority of the pro players being kind of the captains that were picking their squads. I figured they were gonna slot right in to try and being kind of the IGL and setting the structure, but I wasn't expecting so many squads to be alive. Kind of hitting that end of ring 2, ring 3, there was about 17. So I was like, oh, we're gonna get some really good end games, and we definitely did.
Yeah, I love the chaos of endgames, and I know that with Stormpoint, our second map, it's gonna get even more chaotic because I think what we see a lot with Stormpoint, Rain, is that the fights kind of end up happening middle to endgame just because it's such a big map.
Yeah, it's really one of those maps where you have to have a plan. And if you don't, you are hoping and living on a prayer that the zone pulls favorably for you, especially if it pulls north and you're way south, or if it pulls south and you're way north, which is a little bit easier. But because this is a map that is completely tilted one direction down to up and also way bigger than your traditional maps, it's way easier to have someone just in a position that you can't outrun. There's just not enough time to outrun, and players at this caliber, you saw Sweet with that G7 Scout, he missed maybe 2 bullets. So if you have 2 bullets of misses before you're dead. And so that's why this map is so interesting sometimes.
Yep, every bullet counts. You gotta use everything you have in your arsenal. Speaking of, let's go ahead and take a look at how the standings look after match number 1. Woo, of course, we saw Sweet Dreams winning the first match with the 12 additional placement points and 12 eliminations. First place has 24 total points, and Hal in second place has 13. Tiff, this is a huge jump.
Look, if that's how you want to start it off, we all know there's $50,000 on the line, and 24 points in map 1 is the start that you need. And Al getting second place grabs that 9 placement points, but I'm honestly kind of shocked they were only able to grab 4 eliminations. And when you start thinking about history here, especially you, Rain Day, kind of Sweet, Hal on one hand, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of banter going on, especially with these two at the top.
Well, you know, Sweet has done a really good job of winning Twitch Rivals. He's done a lot of winning with Twitch Rivals and Apex. But when him and Hal got to play together for our 200K a couple years ago in San Diego at TwitchCon, they both won. And they came back with a 37-point game together with Reeds, by the way, who was just an up-and-coming player at that time, to win the tournament and jump like 10 places. So both of them now fighting on different teams. I don't know. I smell a little rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the rivalry is really good to have Twitch Rivals, it's in the name, right?
Oh, yeah, wait. That was too easy. Yeah, sorry.
Now,
yeah, a little bit.
it's a little on the nose, but
or that was too good. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, looking at the second page here, Keon, unfortunately, they were in 20th place. And same with Timmy and Peep. I'm very shocked to see these specific teams at the bottom, 18 to 20 place.
I was gonna say, don't call me out, Stella. I was like, oh, my dark horse pick is Keon, and I thought that's exactly where you were going with that. You're like, oh yeah, Team Keon, 20th place. Nah, have faith. You got Verholst in 17th, Yanya in 16th. These are all some absolute legendary players. So, you know, maybe we just gotta get the first game out of the way, and then we'll bounce back, similar to what Rain Day was talking about with like a 37-point game at the end. Anything can happen here, okay?
Yeah, no, it's only match number 1. I mean, really, it sucks because match number 1 can't really be a proper warm-up because then you're immediately slung over to a whole other map. Yeah. But you know what? Maybe it's what they needed to get a little bit of synergy and, you know, get the nervous energy out. So we do have the list of legends for map number 2. So for Assault, the only legend is Bangalore. Skirmisher is Wraith, Octane, Valkyrie. Recon is Seer. Controller, Catalyst. And for support, it's Newcastle and Conduit.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
It is so different. Yeah, I don't. Okay, you know what? I need some time to think about this. So, Rainy,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to you and see
Yeah.
what your dream team is for
Okay,
this
so-
specific list. Yeah.
So let's break it down. Let's go. Here's how I would think about this in general. Bangalore is obviously a character we've seen, and so it's going to be comfortable. However, Bangalore got nerfed. We'll still see it, but it's not going to be as good. So we will then see some deviance. If she was pre-Bangalore, she would absolutely be on everybody's team. Another character who has not been in the meta but is really good on Stormpoint is Catalyst. And having that as your only controller option, if you want to be able to see the ring, you're going to have to pick up Catalyst on your squad. And it's also good for in-game because if you're not running Bangalore, you don't have smokes, how are you going to survive in-game? So I think Catalyst and potentially Bangalore will be the two objective changes. And I definitely think the other ones we'll see will be Seer or Conduit fitting into those. Conduit if you want to get more aggressive, and obviously Seer with the recent buffs. I think people will probably go something like Catalyst, Seer, maybe a Valkyrie here.
Okay, that was my first initial thought, but then I kind of doubled back and I was like, I kind of like the Seer Cat Conduit or the Seer Cat Wraith. Because we were
Okay,
kind of talking
yeah.
a little bit where like, you know, we've been seeing a little bit of Wraith make their kind of name known.
Yeah.
But with Valk on Stormpoint, I think the Ultimate's going to make a big play here. But who knows? We all know the theory crafting. They got 5 minutes to figure it out. And you never know what we're going to get.
Yeah,
You
I
just
think
never know.
I just feel super like aggressive today. So I think I would go like, I would go Catalyst, Octane, and Conduit. Let's do it. Maybe we'll see
Nice,
the.
Octane.
I like it.
I'd like to see an
Right?
Octane. That'd be fun. Yeah, that would be
Right?
great.
Yeah. All right. Well, game number 2 is ready. So I hope we get to see any of our team lineups with the legends. That would be super sick. But you know what?
Have you
Good luck to everyone.
Okay, well,
yeah, that's a new one.
here we go. Sweet Dreams. He's a good indicator of what people will be playing. We're talking about Catalyst, Seer, Valkyrie. Well, it looks like Seer, Valkyrie, Bangalore is still okay for Sweet. So if Sweet's okay with Bangalore, Tiff, to me, that means that we might see a lot more okay with Bangalore too.
Okay, I was like,
Well, it makes sense for me to see Sweet kind of slot into the Bangalore. He's played so much Bang in general. And you kind of mentioned a little bit of the reworks that Bangalore got on the most recent patch. You know, you had that cooldown increase on the ultimate. It went from 4 minutes to 4.5 minutes. They kind of reworked the cooldown on the smoke. Now the smoke dissipates faster and it's about 11 seconds, it lasting instead of 18 seconds. So it is a wide change. So you just need to be able to work around that.
On the flight, it's really important you pick that one. So just whenever, I'll remind you again, and don't pick anything until we both confirm.
okay,
Is he talking their perks right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is we highlighted the silence there to hear a little bit about what Sweet was saying with the perks for Valkyrie. And one of the choices that you're given is, you know, in your level 1, obviously, to be able to look at taking some extra height size on your ultimate. And the fact that he's saying you must get that, it's indicative of kind of the way that he knows when they're picking up this character, what they're going to need to do. Rotating is going to be so crucial for Sweet and his team that he wants to make sure that Bad Gal Shay picks the right perks here.
I'll go Peter Bolt.
Ooh, I do want to point out that we did see who is currently leading with the most eliminations, and I believe it was Sweet, a prize, and I'm not quite sure who the third is, but those two are leading currently.
Wow.
Ooh.
The Prize's team only had 6 kills too. So I wonder how many of those Prize got. He had to have gotten at least 4.
I think it was
saw
6.
Hal's name.
Yeah.
It was 6? He got all
Yeah,
6
because
kills?
Sweet is leading with 9.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That is impressive.
That's just off one game. They did get 12 eliminations, so we'll see if they can keep that consistency moving forward since we do have 5 games remaining. If you're just joining us, guys, in chat, welcome into the Twitch Rivals. We got Nice Wigs Trios Apex Tournament, and we are back on Stormpoint. Those maps are going to keep changing, and we got Vale, Alucard, and a Prizes squad here. Alucard is actually one of Nice Wigs' Twitch mods, and we were kind of having that conversation, Rain. I was like, I've seen this name everywhere. And I was like, where? Nice Wigs mod.
Yeah, I mean, you were doing like some reconnaissance. I was like, this is great. You know, if you guys didn't know, Tiff spent 3 years in Nice Wigs chat just to find out who his mod was for when Alucard played in the tournament today. That's dedication, you know, Twitch Rivals. I can't say anybody else would have done that.
That's true. Streamer, connoisseur of the fuse, apparently one of the best fuses known to us. So
Ooh.
can't play it here in this map because it's all the legend bans and definitely wasn't allowed. The only assault character allowed was Bangalore. And we were curious, will we see Bangalore post rework? Well, Jen Burton is going to slot in for Bangalore as well. Plenty of Seer. They're throwing girl on Seer, Rain Day.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think Seer is really a strong pick. Seer's improvements over the last patch were one of the most significant changes to Legends that we saw. We saw some to Ballistic, but there's just a problem with Ballistic, and it's that all other choices are kind of better than Ballistic, though Ballistic is good, and he got much better. It's just that when you talk about impacting a team or a fight, Seer takes the cake by a mile. And the fact that you can now land focus of attention, it's a 1.2 second delay instead of a 1.4. And that 0.2 seconds really changes the ability for someone to dodge out of it or just narrowly get hit by it. They've added speed to his Heartseeker as well, and they've given him a better perk, which gives his ultimate cooldown 30 seconds off at perk level 1. So there's just a lot of improvements for Seer, and I think this is it's a welcome sight.
Seer's coming back. We tune on with Hal for a little bit. They're going to be running some Seer, jumping over, snipe down squad. Fire Dragon. They made it to that end game and looked really nice, so hopefully they can make it pretty consistent. Rotating out of command center though, and they're heading southbound, so I'd be curious to see kind of where it's pulling.
Question for you, Tiff, as well. How do you feel about Conduit in this meta? This is a character that kind of jumped into the middle of our pro league after coming in, but ever since the back half of the split with season 20 arriving and the 100 new perks, kind of got nerfed, kind of got brought back into, you know, a level playing field with every other legend. It hasn't really been seen very much. What are your thoughts on the Conduit as we see Cardozo playing it here?
I guess it just depends on what your team needs and what your role is for that squad. I personally like Conduit, but I'm okay with kind of being a pocket healer and someone that sits back and is able to give support to my teams that are fragging. So you've obviously got Snipe Down that is going to be one of those players that wants to get in that fight, throwing down Fire Dragon as well here. So we'll see how that goes, but Cardozo, I mean, depending on the perks that we go with, you can grab the cooldown where it'll like kind of make it faster, or you can have the double Radiant transfer.
Yeah.
It lasts a little bit longer on the rev up, but I think that's a really fun one to pick.
Believe it, and obviously Vale going down there that we're watching that POV. This is a decent nade from Alucard. It's going to force that character back, and so he might be able to get some KP there, looking for it. And that just creates a difficult problem. But because of the piercing spikes, feels free. No one's going to climb up on it quite yet. Alucard with the 3 times. It's going to hit a shield battery. Hey, there it goes, Duncan. Another shield battery. Caught on camera. I wonder where we're at right now. Stella, do you have the numbers for us? I mean, are you live keeping track of this?
No, because I can't see everyone's POV, but I have not been told that we're not at the halfway mark yet. So, listen, these are rookie numbers, whatever they are. We got to crank them up.
We need another one right there for Vale. Come on, pop it. I see the Radiant transfer going through, but I would love for it to actually just be replaced with a shield battery all of its own.
That was scary.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I just need people to be taking long fights here and getting shield batteries. But to be fair, this is a map that should have more shield batteries used because a lot more engagements are like this. From range, snipers, and what are you going to do? You're going to heal up with a bat. Now, if you have cells, it's fine, but most of the time, it's really dangerous to try to use cells here. You see Evil Toaster realizing that at a moment you take that much, it's going to be difficult, and unfortunately takes so much damage that it's a Phoenix kit instead, guys.
No.
It's a pain, but it makes sense for the situation, and it was looking so bleak for them, but the ability that Conduit provided to get them back up, kind of reset, we get that, you know, Emmy kind of goes down here, but that's all right. At least we can block the door and allow Hal and Evil Toaster to come up with a plan to maybe throw some pressure down onto the squad.
Yeah, they were getting pushed pretty heavily. I think a lot of people know how difficult it is to fight sometimes within those windows. Sometimes it feels like you can hit every shot. Sometimes it feels like you can't hit any and it gets blocked. Right here, though, Hal and them have decided to abandon it. This is going to be a potentially very important res. Doesn't have, obviously, which you were hoping, the perk to maybe be able to help out on that. Obviously, running the Conduit is just going to be able to provide the heals as it is. And Evil Toaster and Hal's going to get knocked. But if he took it, he might be close, but you can hear Hal saying, run away. It's not worth it. Just stay alive. You actually can craft us later on. And that might be able to get him back into the game.
Look, I don't want to say too much here, but that was definitely Team Keon on the other side of that engagement. So we are making moves here. No more 20th place for us. It's only up from here. Back on board with Snipe down, pushing out through this choke here. And they're just trying to disengage and get out of the situation. You can see them take into the skies to rotate throughout. But I think Conduit is pretty valid here. A lot of our squads are running them.
Yeah, I see a lot of the squads choosing it. And it's hard to go against what you're seeing, but for me, I think there's a reason we haven't seen Conduit break into higher level ALGS play. I think it's a character that does a lot of things pretty well, but doesn't excel at any of them. The energy barricade is quite good at staving people off, but it's not like you know, a catalyst wall, and it's not the same thing as trying to break through a Watson perimeter security or nade or you know, an interception pylon. And so while Conduit, smaller hitbox, obviously a little bit harder to, you know, take down in a gunfight, I still think that, you know, a composition like this is a little bit more interesting for me. But as I say that, Sweet, he's got the kills so far as the leader, and he's gonna finish it off and get a few more. But he's just trying to stay alive here, and that is all he can hope for at this moment.
Full heal, you're right.
Full heal. Oh my gosh. All right, good. We got the med kit. Just a simple 8 seconds here to be able to get back into that fight. I see another shield back going off for baby Nikki. So Duncan enjoyers in the chat, we've got another one. But for here, with that kind of ring coming in and just trying to gatekeep throughout, they could go through the tunnels and maybe push towards wall, but that's going to be a really long rotation. Granted, they can still tank the ring. It just depends on how much heals that you have available.
Yeah, and at this point, the problem is they're starting with Bad Gal Shay so low. And so how much time do we spend getting her up? She's going to have to pop a syringe really quickly, then a med kit, and then figure out how they're going to, if anything, skyward dive. But that's the benefit of it, is that if you can use that Valkyrie, you have that rotation that Sweet was talking about. Still an enemy alive, so they know the team they were fighting has rotated ahead of them and has left that team behind. And so I think she's just waiting probably on the call to get up and get going, but spending quite a lot of time on the heals. Can't quite see her healing bar because her camera is there. It looks great quality, but we're still, this is a tense moment to try to figure out how much health she has before they start making a move. Oh, see?
Must not be that much. Not that much. We are in the mere shambles here. You can see the syringes at their feet, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, we have plenty of health between them. They got the skyward dive. They just need to get out of there. On board with Albraleli's squad in the midst of the Seer ult and the Havoc, man. Randy, this thing has been so clutch of recent.
It's so good, and it's like shifted the tide of assault rifles being better than SMGs. And at a moment, you know, you're seeing the Havoc dominate. It really does. And it's not just the headshots, which are huge, they're massive, and it's not just the speed with the turbocharger. It's just the general damage per bullet. You've hit a couple bullets, you're doing 32 damage, and it just happens so fast that you really can surprise someone to the point where now they can push, they don't have time to heal. And that's what we're seeing. Mendo rotating as well with the flat line, sees a Rolling Thunder from a Bangalore Albraleli, trying to hide inside of it. He has his level 3 perk. Is he healing in the smoke? The auto ping has changed. I don't know. He might be. But Mendo...
Yeah, that's what I was curious on that one.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. What do you feel about that, Tiff? I mean, 3.5 per second instead of 3. I think it's, what, 15, 20% increase. Is it enough?
Oh, he's on that rock. Yeah, my bad, bro.
Ooh, no, I don't think it is, especially with the changes to the smoke duration, but Mendo goes down. I know Rektar was the squad that was just ahead of them. They were able to get that knock onto Dara, but when you kind of get shoved into a position where you really don't have a lot of space, you're all kind of split out, and then Alb is like one man standing out in the middle. There's only so much you can do, and that squad will be eliminated, but for a prize, yeah, they're not inside that next zone. They've just kind of walked up into this and need to hit that rotation. There's only 25 seconds left before they got to get a move on, and that ring starts closing.
Well, Albraleli was the kill leader, it said in the feed, and he's gone down now. So it's up to Alucard, Prize, and Vale to keep it pushing. Got a lot of tools at their discretion. Obviously, the Catalyst wall. But looking at this rotation, not a lot of things to do if they get caught. So just hoping that they can hug the wall. Nobody sees them coming. 17 squads still left. And they're looking to play edge, not trying to get too far into zone. A team that is on the other side and will have to move soon. Maybe just picked up a few teammates who were down. And on that red again, I mean, Snipe down is either the most Evo Cash rotating player I've ever seen, or they've got something going on with spiders and prowlers to level him up quickly because he's hitting fast reds before zone 3 closes every single time.
Look, if you're just gonna practice it, we love to see it. He goes, we're gonna heal up and immediately hit that Valk ult. So we're looking for a rotation here, but that also gives you kind of the angle and the information of where the squads are around. You can see they're being peppered with bullets, but nothing too major connecting. And this is probably one of the cleanest Valk ults I've witnessed in a very long time, because you know how they can go. You flip a coin, you're like, this is either gonna be really bad or it's good. And so far, we're okay.
Well, they have this pit, and they can basically hide behind those, what he was pointing out, those huge pipes, and hopefully just sit and get a couple of KP here, but it's going to be difficult for him to do. Kurodeza, Fire Dragon, Snipetown, we're in our finals in game 1, and just like that, G7 Scout, that's Pat Galche, that's the late rotation from Sweet's team. So this could change everything if it ends up finding Sweet. I doubt it will. He's so good at staying alive when things go wrong, but at least for now, Snipe is putting on the pressure.
It's not what you want if you're Sweet coming off a map 1 victory and trying to stay consistent here, but Snipe gets stunned up just a little bit once that kind of focus of attention connects, but all is well. And to be fair, we just used one of those 6 bats that he had, and my inner Duncan fan appreciates you, sir.
Absolutely, and you could just see right there, Tiff, that was that little 1.2 seconds difference between the 1.4 that actually that Seer Q was able to be landed. And so that is the difference with the character right now. That's why it's got to come back a little bit, and that's why Snipetown, if there was a need to use that missile swarm, it wouldn't have been possible because of the silence onto the abilities, as well as the skyward dive would have been delayed if they needed to try to get out of there in time. So well-timed Seer Q, still able to get the damage, but great job from Kurodeza, Fire Dragon, and Snipe yet again to hold down this kind of tricky area and keep control of it.
They're crawling up top. One of them just went up top.
Ooh, some nice shots going out right there. I kind of like her positioning here to put pressure on that, but gets extended out a little bit too far. We're throwing down the energy barricade, and
I'm low. I'm really
ooh,
low.
when the comms come in, they're like, someone's above you? And it's like, that is not what you want to hear. You are at that point completely surrounded. And we do know those bunkers are such a favorite position that get taken quite earlier, but the squad in the bunker in front of her, they have to move because that's not it.
Monomorg almost going down, and that is it. Team Yanya is falling. But look at this squad right here. Jen Burton, Girl, and Mr. Keem. I like their position. They're on the only little bit of high ground that we've seen, and they're not under pressure. They can pressure Rolling Thunder from Jen Burton. Maybe the team that was pushing a little bit of Snipetown inside. A prize also trying to rotate. And could this be firing on Jen Burton's squad? No, he's going to take down Keon, who was a pain. And Snipetown will actually get Legendary Doll in the kill feed as well. And so a prize and Alucard is a duo trying to keep up the kills that they've started in game number 1.
Not my dark horse pick, under fire right now, and a prize and Alucard are forced to duo it out here. We have 10 squads, and it's about to be round 5, which is crazy, and they're undergoing so much pressure here. If we could get some shield cracks here for a prize, that would be great, because you do have the hammer points on the RE45, but over to Nikki's POV. They're also down to a duo, and they do not have a lot of cover. This is where Bangalore can be vital.
So good at figuring out these moments, though. This is the thing with Sweet. This is the thing with Sweet. He just finds a way, even as a solo, to stay alive. Top 4, top 3. Remember, those placement points really matter, especially when you're in the lead. And so having a couple of kills already, Rolling Thunder there, it's going to buy him some time. Now, they don't have necessarily a mobile respawn beacon here, but they don't necessarily need one. Duos can be quite effective, especially if the energy stays over on someone else. And you could see, look, dropped, and his squad with the Bangalore on this other side. We haven't seen dropped a lot, but good to see him competing here in our Twitch rivals.
I'm really curious to see how they're going to approach this. They're trying to take space and kind of move in. They picked up They Love Gabs, and that was the first pick, right? And Gabs competes all the time in women. She's part of the Luminosity roster in women's Apex comp, so you know that's going to be a solid pick. And all right, dropped. We see that. You're just forcing that squad ahead of you into such a pickle. Mr. Keem is going down, and we just saw Bad Gal Shay get hit up by Abe on the charge rifle, so another Charge Rifle, enjoyer.
And this is Girl's team, but this is what that happens when you have that ultimate. It's a great play from Girl. Throws the immediate seer vision. And what that does, it just delays. Drop knows he could push this team, but doesn't want to do it. Jim Burton as well. Now is able to get that shield barrier. Good grenade. They're going to probably go on heights. They've got one knock. He might get hit by that. He does, but he gets so aggressive that he's able to shield swap, take damage. What a calculated play from Jim Burton. But now he's got to go back there. Girl's still alive and trying to get Mr. Keem up in a top 4 situation with, look at that, 5 kills and 7 assists.
Mere seconds to go. The fact they pull that res off and are able to keep pushing forward. The ring has been closing. It's at their back, and they are all forced into the other. Oh, you just walk up on that and Jen Burton goes crazy. It doesn't manifest into an actual knock, but the fact that you were able to put enough pressure onto that squad and allow you a little bit of reprieve.
Bangalore, Catalyst, Seer, I see you and you can't see me. That's the name of the game here for Jen Burton, Mr. Keem, and Girl, who are putting on a show. Optic dropped, still alive with Gabs and Squad, and this is going to mean that with this range from the Charge Rifle, one good shot, one headshot could be the difference, but it's not easy. It's much easier said than done, Tiff, as things start to settle down for a moment. Our top 3 teams realize where the opponents are, and they start to develop a plan on how they're going to push this one, try to get our win in game 2.
Oh, we got a good look at Abe's inventory here. No shields or batteries available, just white meds and radiant transfer. But we're just going to hang back and try to connect the Charge Rifle here, maybe put some pressure down, but they're going to have to move first. And this is going to be really tough because everything that we saw from Girl Squad was looking so phenomenal. The ability to fight alongside Jen Burton. And you think about it this way, Girl competed in the first Twitch Rivals back in 2019. She's always been a staple and competitive. I've seen some crazy moves out of her, especially when she plays Pathfinder back in the day. Just so much fun. I think this trio right here is going to be insane. And I have them poised to potentially win this map.
Well, they got to deal with the team in front of them and to the right. That's the difficulty there. But Girl has popped off 5 kills. Jim Burton also has 5 kills. Mr. Keem's gotten in on the action. You know it. Because there's 7 assists for Jim Burton. And Girl only has potentially 5 of them. So this is what I'm talking about. Nice little range. Ooh. And with the focus of attention, knows exactly where they are. And they're also silenced, which isn't good. Means you want to throw piercing spikes. You want to throw smoke. It's not going to happen. As the zone starts to kind of close in. They've got plenty of time. A rolling thunder as well, Tiff. And just pressure down this corridor. Who is going to be the first to fall? The hits come down from the Rolling Thunder, but it's not enough to take them down as they inch through the smoke.
And this is where that Digi threat change that we recently had, where you cannot equip it onto SMGs, makes this a little more difficult. We extend out, we get caught just a little bit, but that's another shield batter too that we get to use. Holding onto that Seer ult, we're going to throw it now. The exhibit is out, and now it is a show. She grabs a knock onto Gabs, so that's one. We just got to find the other 2. Where's dropped?
Look at this. Picasso would be proud, standing still in the exhibit for all to see. And right now, Jim Burton, Girl, are gonna take this one like they never weren't. Mr. Keem and the squad will get wins in game number 2. And Tiff, that might be the most dominant win we've seen in Twitch Rivals for our Apex Legends showdown here.
We thought that 24 was gonna be big, but they might have just topped that one, Stella.
I know, that was incredible. I loved that endgame so much. I love it when they're in the trenches and you have no idea who can see you or not. But listen, as much as I hated the Seer meta, I'm very glad that Girl still showed off how strong Seer can be when you have the right comp. And I mean, Rain, you brought up a good point about the Digi threat. That being gone makes Seer a little bit more viable for a team, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, going back and forth with Tiff on that, it was really just a conversation of the limits now that you've put onto certain weapons and why you're seeing even more things like the Havoc and the Flatline become more valuable. Because as you take off the value from an SMG and now you compete just with bullets, but now you have to compete with utility that it no longer has. So definitely a shift in the meta, but it's made Apex very, very interesting.
Yeah, and speaking of interesting, I have really good news for chat. Guess what? 150 shield batteries were consumed, and they accomplished today's Duncan Challenger Cup goal. So it's time to claim your free coffee. I'm so excited for y'all. So don't forget to drop hashtag Duncan promotion in the chat. You'll receive a private message from a mod bot called Duncan Challenger Cup bot with further instructions. Remember to enable your DMs from non-friends on your Twitch account so that the Duncan bot can contact you about your free coffee. No purchase necessary. It is US residents only and 18 or older. Official rules are at fuji.info/Dunkin Challenger Cup 23. So go claim your prize and make sure to join the Dunkin Rewards app to start saving and stacking your points for more free Dunkin. I'm so excited for everyone. So I was originally told halfway through that match that, hey, we're going to shout out the halfway through the Dunkin Challenge thing. And then at the end, they were like, no, we actually finished it. So listen, that was a fire match.
Love it. Love it.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the standings for you after match 2 and go straight into match 3.
Hope y'all entered your information for the free coffee. I am so excited for everyone. I mean, pretty sure Rain Day was trying to get in there too, but you know what? It's all right.
Oh, yeah.
It's all right. So we are going into the map Olympus that everyone has an opinion on. And we do have the list of legends available for map 3. So for Assault, it's Ash and Ballistic. Skirmisher is only Pathfinder. Recon, we have Crypto and Vantage. And for Controller, we have Caustic and Support Lifeline.
Ooh.
Listen,
wow.
As like when the game first dropped, I was a Lifeline main, so I really want to see Lifeline being used, but I don't know. We'll see.
I hope she gets her 50% fast heals back. I was just talking about that today. I'll be a Lifeline main again if that happens.
You were talking about that, and I was like, please give her the shield res back. And everyone was like, no, it was too strong. And I'm like, yeah, but that was really fun. But Lifeline did get reworked just recently, especially alongside the care package. You can't get the care package weapons right off the first rip, and you will no longer get a care package weapon in her supply drop, a perk upgrade too. So, I mean, interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I still think she's very viable, but I mean, yeah, we'll we'll see what teams choose what legends, because this one's a really interesting mesh. But chat, before we look at what we might be predicting for the next legend pick, I'm really sad to say that Guessin' with Duncan is finished for today. Check out the Duncan leaderboard to see your placement, and a friendly Twitch staff member will reach out to confirm prizes for the top 10 scores. Come back for the next Twitch Rivals for your chance to play and win. And chat, Duncan just dropped a new kind of energy for your afternoon boost. Sparked Energy by Duncan is made with vitamins, minerals, and a kick of caffeine to keep you at the top of your game, with 2 delicious flavors, Berry Burst and Peach Sunshine. Need a boost? Grab a Sparked Energy drink by Duncan. I feel like if Octane was a real person, he would definitely get the Berry Burst.
I would
Oh,
go
yeah.
Berry Burst. I think that
He
sounds
seems
really
like-
good.
He'd
You
get
think so?
sparked.
I would go with Peach Sunshine.
Yeah, that sounds good too. That's
Right?
both
Yeah, they
of,
both
you
sound
can't
good.
go wrong. Either way, I think it sounds great. I'll take one. I'll take 2.
Yeah. Oh, you're getting the free coffee too. That's not fair.
I'll take it all. That's what I'm saying.
Wait.
I'll
Oh
bring
my
it
God.
over. Bring it
Wait,
over.
you got the free coffee, you qualified, you ran there and you got it. I was like texting my guy. I was like, hey, just so you know, it got met. Go try to
I'm,
get
I'm
your
checking
Dunkin'.
my messages. I'm checking my messages. Please. Pause the
Oh my
show. I
goodness.
gotta see if I got this.
All right. Well, while you're checking that, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings and see who is trying to take it all today. And woof, look at this mix up
Oh my
here,
gosh.
Tiff. I mean, yeah, Jen Burton's team, you were hoping for some really good score numbers. And I mean, look at this. 29
We were talking
total
about
points.
this.
Yeah, 17 eliminations.
Oh my gosh, because like Sweet dropped 24 in map number 1, and you know, Girl and Jen Burton, they were kind of just frying out there at the end alongside Mr. Keem, and I was like, okay, a minimum of 5 on Girl, minimum of 5 on Jen Burton, but how many did they actually grab? 17. That's the biggest game of the day so far.
Yeah,
I
that is
know.
huge.
I'm super excited. Yeah, and then we see Team Keon going up the leaderboard. You're right. No more 20th place, but we do see Nicewick in 20th place, and that's not what we want to see from the guy who is putting on this event, Rain.
No, it's not. But again, he went into this saying this is going to happen. We're going to have vibes, and that's about it. So he stuck to his word, and that's got to count for something.
Yeah, now we're looking at the overall standings. It's pretty close between Sweet Dreams and Team Jen Burton. But look, Sweet only had 6 points in map 2. Do you think that this could change and maybe they'll come back to their 20 points in Olympus, Tiff?
I'm not actually sure how Olympus is going to play out. There's a couple people. I mean, if you think back to scrims right ahead of year 4 split 1, a lot of people were scrimming on Olympus thinking it was going to be in competitive. So some of our pro players are going to have that experience on how it's going to play out. Sweet obviously being one of them. So I think they're going to ebb and flow and try to figure it out, at least for the first iteration of the map. And then they'll implement those changes kind of on the back half when we see it again. But for teams like Noko, Yanya, Timmy, Peeps, this is not where I was expecting them to end up on the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, I totally thought Reptar's team would be at least on the first page, maybe first top 10, right? But I'm really shocked. But maybe we'll see them come back, as we go back through the maps in the next few matches. But here are how the elimination leaderboard looks so far. And Jen Burton is leading by 3 points above Sweet Dreams. I mean, Rain,
Yeah.
how do you feel about the way that this is all stacking up right now?
Well, okay, so I actually think this is setting up for a really good couple of last games because you've got everyone within 10 kills, and we see 9 kills for our kill leader most of the time. I mean, you just win that final fight and you're on 6 kills, but you down those 3 players, you're at 9. So it can really flip. And the scary part about it for Sweet is he got 2 kills in that game. They got 6 total points. So they came in 6th, even though they were down and out and rotating and skyward diving and in zone and getting knocked 3 times. So for me, that's a good 6 points. Like that's tough. So I would say they're still definitely in the running for all of those accolades.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so Tiff, obviously with this, you see who is kind of leading the different teams with kills. Do you think that they're going to try and coordinate so that they can make sure that the main fragger gets all the kills? Because I know in the heat of battle, it's really hard to hold yourself back, especially when every bullet counts and, you don't want to let an enemy get away. But do you think there's going to be some sort of coordination to help boost these players?
I mean, I would love to think that. I think if we're coming into like the last 2 maps and it's like neck and neck and maybe only 1 or 2 eliminations are separating, I 100% think they're going to be like, please let me get that last bullet. Let me claim the kill for myself, because there's nothing worse than like being 1 bullet away from getting an elim and they get, you know, your other player taps them, because we do have those superlatives. $500 is going to go for the most elim player across the entire 6 series. And then you have some money going to the second one as well. So at least it's a little bit of a consolation prize. But if you lose by 1, that's always tough. I don't like losing at all, but 1 makes it a little hurtful.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, that just kind of rubs salt in the wound, right? It's like, oh, you were just there.
Could have done it, but no, you didn't.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we see some Vantage plays in this one, actually. I mean, so I feel like that could just help push your team, you know, secure a kill, because the tag and the extra damage for the little bit of time, it's really helpful. And there are some really good snipers in this lobby. So I fully expect to see some Vantage plays, but I don't know. Do you, Rainday, how do you feel about Ballistic if people choose Ballistic for this map?
I love Ballistic. I've been playing Ballistic in ranked almost exclusively as to check out the character, even before the actual buff that he received. And to me, Ballistic's a really fun character. I think when you put Ballistic in a lobby where there are a lot of better choices that people are running, he has an issue. But in this lobby where you're really choosing between kind of a Ballistic, Pathfinder, or an Ashe as like that kind of role, we could see a Ballistic or 2 if anyone has experience. But I do feel that the character, though he got buffs, it's just not quite impactful enough on certain maps, especially like Stormpoint. But Olympus being a little smaller, maybe he'll have a chance. And I certainly hope so, because I would love to talk about him.
Yeah, wait, okay, so what is the weapon that you have, your sling weapon? What is your go-to sling weapon?
You got to go Alternator or RE45. I heard someone go Havoc because it's a guaranteed turbocharger, but it depends on how you like to play. Do you ult kind of getting into a fight, or do you ult as you're in the fight? There's worrisome moments on either, because Alternator a little bit better mid-range, RE45 I think it slaps up close. So there's so many different choices you can make with the character. He's really interesting.
Oh, all right. Well, hopefully we see some Ballistic plays in here, Tiff.
Hey, maybe we will. I know Rainday will be excited, but we're already getting our first look at Verhol's squad playing alongside Boom Razzle and Maiden Star. And this is the first time we've got Caustic able to be played, the only controller legend here for Olympus.
Yeah, I was gonna, I didn't give really a thought on what I think we'll see, but I think we will see Caustic in almost every team. I think Caustic will be something that is just a little bit too good, too meta, and people are too experienced with at this level to not pick up. But who surrounds that? I'd be surprised if it wasn't, my second thought was Lifeline, but I think Pathfinder is another second. I'm surprised to see the crypto. I think maybe Boom Razzle is more comfortable than others with the crypto, but it's just such a departure from a traditional Apex Legends play style, sitting in the drone, controlling that, managing fighting while also that kind of recon, that I think that we'll probably see Lifelines or Pathfinders. And hey, clearly an Ashe.
We already know wherever Clara at work is in this lobby, she has immediately locked in Lifeline. And if she's not playing Lifeline today, I will be incredibly shocked. But the Ashe pickup, I think that's interesting as well, considering that was one of the only Assault Legends you could play, Ashe or Ballistic. And you being the Ballistic fan, I do like Ashe. It kind of has the ultimate that allows you a little bit of movement to get out of dodge or maybe get into an engagement, maybe a surprise attack. And Verhol's being the absolute legend that Big E is, it makes sense for him to throw that down.
Yeah, well, Ashe got better. Ashe was pretty good. Ashe got better, and they adjusted the tether mid-season, and they, with the perk system as well, have, given her more options and, longer duration at base. I think that there is something to be said, and you see going for Murder Machine. This is really where I think Ashe needs to improve just her level 1 perks. I think if she gets some better level 1 perks that incentivize someone to kind of rush Ashe and get that big, whether it's an ultimate cooldown, whether it's a double tactical, whatever that is, I think you'll see the efficacy of that character. But here it is. This is like the best thing possible. You're seeing Imperial Hal playing Ballistic with a Caustic and a Lifeline. I mean, I am so excited about this, and I mean, hey, we're gonna see if it can work.
Content, everyone. Content. I can't even remember the last time I've ever seen Hal pick Ballistic. Maybe when it would have first dropped, but over to Snipe Down playing Ashe, that makes a little more sense. You've already got one knock there. Karadaza locking in the lifeline, and I think it's just going to be Caustic galore on every squad, but currently, first team to go down over here at Power Grid, and we did get to see kind of where Hal's team was positioned, and it looked like a lot of them were moving kind of towards Rift.
Yeah, they're right inside. They're to the left of where Snipe Down is. And so this will be an interesting engagement, especially if they get enticed by when that care package drops. Hal, at this point with Ballistic, has a choice to see inside that care package, but I think that's going to be overlooked at this point in time. MU Vision also got replaced, and now it's just basically increase the duration of that tactical by 3 times. And so that starts to become something, pretty valuable. And I think that's where you give a little bit of play for that Ballistic. But back to the Ashe and Boom Razzle on the Crypto, Maiden Star on the Caustic, and holding the top of Hammond Labs in between Hammond Labs and Turbine. It's a great vantage point to be able to see if any teams are approaching on that downhill slope.
It's not a bad position, but every time I rotate through this area of Olympus, I usually get pinched because I'll get mirrored from behind and immediately start getting pressure. And then you try to rotate through Energy Depot to get to kind of other POIs throughout here, whether you just try to go underneath and go to gardens. And as we immediately look back, Girl, Jen Burton, Mr. Keem, your winners of map number 2 are hitting a rotate towards Energy Depot. See, everyone comes throughout here.
Yeah, and I think people have maybe I think Pathfinder's a little underestimated in this particular map. That zipline does a lot of work in rotations. And with the flat line, nades, top of it, and there's that EMP. Is this Boom Razzle? I believe they are fighting the rotation from Boom Razzle and Verholz, who have rotated on the other side, the western side of that slope, and now going to have to go through the Caustic. The Caustic player can do it, though. Maiden Star on the other side can get through to Jim Burton, and you can see Jim Burton's hurt. Throwing up a shield battery, but we already got the coffee, so no worries about that on either side if he gets it off or uses a Phoenix kit. Mr. Keem on the lifeline, too, staying in the backside, and they're just going to pull back, Tiff, and I think it's a smart move.
It's respectable. Jen's Caustic play goes crazy, finally able to get back up to fully healed. We need to keep our eyes out on Mr. Keem, and I would love to say that Verhol's squad did a really good job of pushing Jen Burton into more of a defensive stance, because no matter what they are trying to do, kind of peek, get an angle, they just immediately get pressure. That's the last shield bat available for Jen Burton, so are we going to completely rotate out of here? I would love to see that, but it looks like we're just going to snake our way through the underside to reunite with Girl.
And using that level 1 perk, I'm not quite sure which one was chosen, as we get a nice little overhead view from our observing team of just the situation. It shows that they have backed off just a little bit. Shout out to our production team helping to give us a top-down POV of what's going on. And Mr. Keem, one of those teams that was being looked at with Jim Burton and Girl. They've definitely got mobility in the Pathfinder. And Pathfinder getting some tweaks actually mid-season as well. 50% less damage on the zipline if that's the level 1 choice that you want to do, up from 25%. And so, if anything, could just make that a little bit of a safer rotation for Path.
They landed at this building. Well, at least one did.
Do love that. Good update here for Snipe Down squad. Top back of Rift. Allows them a little bit of information. A Rogue Trident just ahead of them. See kind of where they want to go from here, but at least gathering information and knowing where you need to play. But waiting here to see where that ring is going to pop will be really good for them.
Yeah, you got high ground. You don't really want to overcommit.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're
You do have
fighting.
console in front.
Yeah, they're fighting something. Yeah.
Obviously trying to figure out what their next move will be. And with the Caustic, they can see that
Okay. Do you
if
want
they
me to go
haven't
down
scanned
to
it
you?
already.